Yup.
Okay.
Yup.
What if it's your boy? What if it's your boy Scuba Steve?
And I'm the Sodaholic.
And I'm your boy, the Chancla.
Sorry about that intro. Still kind of. We recorded something previous to this, and so I was like.
We're just gonna walk right past that, you know.
Anyways, welcome back, y'all, to another episode. How y'all doing? Leave a comment down below. All right, thanks for
watching,
listening.
guys.
See you next time.
Anyways, we got some interesting topics set for you guys here today. But before we get into it, I would just like to talk about our sponsors. Our first sponsor is water.
All right.
Never mind. I tried
Water
to make
is
it a thing,
yummy.
and I was sipping on water, then I choked.
I wish this
water.
podcast was sponsored by Coke, because Coke kicks water's ass.
Actually, I'd rather have it be sponsored by Dr. Pepper, my guy.
Okay, hot take time.
Speaking of soda, I had a phase where in college where it's not really soda, but it's just caffeine. Well, every day I had at least a Red Bull or a Monster, like in every meal, and it was really bad. There was a point where, where I did a presentation, or I had a presentation in the morning, but I forgot to have breakfast. But I had Red Bull instead, and the whole time I was just like, so I stopped drinking Red Bull after that day, or at least not only Red Bull, but a whole bunch of energy drinks. So that being said, that's our topic of our podcast.
I would say I'm in a similar situation where I just drink Dr. Pepper all the time, but like. That's just kind of my life right now.
Exactly. I drink
It's
so
just
much
really
soda to where my doctors would be telling me I'm gonna die real soon, and I don't care. Soda's life, my guy. I have to maintain the brand. Sodaholic, soda time. All right, bam.
Hey,
I have already accepted the fact that I'm gonna get kidney stones. I mean,
yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. But
I know I'm not looking forward to it, but like I've already accepted
doctors
the fact
say,
that I'm pretty.
The more soda you drink, you're gonna end up getting kidney stones. But you can prevent it by not drinking or drinking less to no soda.
Yeah, but that kind of life is not
you guys
worth living.
You guys.
That's not the kind
well,
of life
I guess I'm just gonna drink soda for the rest of my life.
Damn, bet.
Sounds like a good
Bet.
life.
I'm probably gonna be embarrassed of this, but yeah, that's how you're supposed to live.
Anyways, so our topic of discussion this day and time is phases and embarrassing moments, I believe, that we have been through and so far up into this life. Our life today. Right now.
So are we gonna start from the beginning, or where are we gonna start?
My embarrassing phase started when I was born.
I came out and I had a mohawk. Imagine coming out with already head of hair and like a mustache. I can't.
That would be awesome, bro.
When you wanted to keep the umbilical cord, but the doctors cut it anyway.
That is so funny.
No, we'll just spit out a phase or an embarrassing moment you had in your life, just any time. For example, for me, I probably already told this story to you guys, but I'm gonna just retell it because I think it's funny. In high school, it was my senior year, and I I wanted for my graduation like celebration, I wanted to go to a buffet. I love buffets. Even though I'm a skinny guy, very scrawny, looking like a toothpick, I really enjoy eating a whole bunch. And so buffets are a really cool spot to go eat, right? I mean, it's just unlimited chicken and rice and a whole bunch of random food. Anyways, so we're scoping out a whole bunch of like near home, near town buffets, and we found this one that was like across a couple towns down. And so we went over after going to church, and then we munched a bit. Side story. In that story, I went to go use the bathroom, and I wanted to use the stall, but I like pushed my way into the stall, but it was locked, and I saw the guy. Oh, I didn't see the guy, but he was just like here, and I was like, oh crap, and anyway, I thought it was funny. It wasn't. Anyways, we had a lot to eat. We all had like a couple plates. It was good, very satisfying. We decided that this is the place where we're gonna go after we graduate, or after I graduate. We're gonna have a whole bunch of family and friends. We're just gonna eat and feast for the rest of our lives, right? That day. So we went back home. It was 4 of us, so all 4 of us have a really fast metabolism per se, and so like we were all picking out. All my family were picking out like turns to use the bathroom because we only have 1 bathroom in our small apartment, right? And so I got second. I was able to go second, right? And so my brother went in. He went to use the bathroom, or we got home. My brother went in. He went to use the bathroom. So then I'm chilling in the living room, right? And you know how when you get that feeling of gas, right? You're like, oh, I could let this out, right? Because when you need a poop, you can let go a little bit of gas. So I do, but it comes out a little bit wet. And I was like, well, shit.
Bro.
And so a little bit of wet and a little bit more, I'm not going to give details, but I stood there for a bit, right? And I kind of just like had this weird stance. And so my sister was across from me in the kitchen. And she saw me and she was like, hey, what's up, my guy? And I was like, oh, I think I just pooped myself. And so
Bro, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, right. And so I walked to my room, to get out of this whole situation. And right, to give a visual, the bathroom's on the left, my room is in front of me, and my mom's room is across the way from the bathroom. So that's the hallway. And so I'm walking, and my mom sees me walking this certain way. Can't really give you a way I walk. It was like a skeleton from those memes, like blue, blue, blue. Anyways, I walked past. My mom was like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And I was like, "Not much. I just pooped myself." And my mom was like, "Oh, hey, she was like, hey, get out of the bathroom. Your brother just pooped himself." And my brother was like, "Oh, I just got in." Right? And so I was like, "It's fine. Just take your time, my guy." He didn't really take his time. He did take his time. He took a long ass time. And so I just stood in my room with and I put my pants down so it doesn't like the chunks don't stay up like a bowl, but it was dripping down to my pants. And so so after my brother left, I went inside, released the rest of my poop, cleaned myself up, took a shower, and we didn't go to the buffet. For my graduation. We didn't do much for my graduation, but that's a pretty embarrassing moment. Funny enough, I told everyone after that experience, that that experience was my first time queefing myself. But
Okay.
I don't think a man queefs himself. I told this story to one of my friends when I came here, or my first year in college, and she was just like confused at the end of it. She was like, "Queef? Do you mean you sharted yourself?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, what you just experienced was a shard, right?" And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." She explained what the difference between those two, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that I totally agree. I totally sharded myself, not queefed." So,
that's funny.
Yeah, that's an embarrassing moment. I got plenty of those. Not plenty of like pooping, but like plenty of.
Well, I mean, to go along with story when I was
Steve.
Man, fuck. One day I'll get it. To go along with Scuba Steve's story, when I was little, I really had a hard time knowing when to go to the restroom.
What?
Like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, for whatever reason, when I was little, whenever I needed to go to the restroom, I just didn't go to the restroom. I don't know why. Sometimes I know why, but like, for the most part, I didn't know why. But I was that kid where like I'd be playing video games, I'd be so into it, and like I just sit there and not go, like I need to go to the restroom, but I wouldn't get up to go to the restroom.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, I sometimes when I game, I would need to use the bathroom, but I just don't. I like hold myself an hour or two, and then finally go use the bathroom after a couple like boss battles stuff, right? But I thought you were gonna be like, oh, when I pee, I just refuse to pee, or
no, like,
or like,
I just
like,
don't go to the restroom and I pee myself instead. Like, that's actually what happens.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm actually serious. But that was like when I was little. That was like 1st through 3rd grade, I think, or
To
even
this day,
before
I just-
1st grade. Sometimes I think.
To this day, I don't know how to pee. Okay.
I think it really took a toll on my
your
on my
bladder's like
metabolism, to be honest.
yeah.
I just hold my
Your
poo in for so long that it just
Your bladder's
doesn't
like,
come out every day now.
Please, Pablo. I just can't do it.
That's
I-
what-
Do it no more.
I guess to go along with this theme, I'm gonna tell an embarrassing story when I pooped myself in the 2nd grade. I pooped myself in the 2nd grade. That's the embarrassing story.
That's the embarrassing stuff. That's it. Nothing. There's no.
Bro, I have an even more embarrassing story than that now that you brought that up. But we're gonna
feel
move
like a
past
lot of
this because you
embarrassing-
guys told me to stop you guys from talking about poop and pee.
Well, a lot of embarrassing stuff involves pooping for me, at least. I can't really think of other. Well, there's other moments too.
Well, I have
but would save
I
that
have
for later.
other moments of like
Okay.
not pooping and peeing.
Okay,
But it's a
so-
lot more deep than pooping and peeing.
Speaking of pooping and peeing, let's go back to our sponsors. This is sponsored by Drink One Before You Poop, for it cleanses your.
Pop
No,
in.
actually, you should
Stomach.
drink a Dr.
So-
Pepper before you poop. It has prunes in it, so I mean,
I wanted to go back into the topic of phases. I know it's a weird segue, but we're just gonna jump in between. We're just gonna jump back and forth. But I just have a question. Do you think having, because I've had this phase where I've only listened to stuff like Skrillex, so dubstep, right? So in my opinion, well, my first question is, have you guys had that phase?
were you listening to like nothing but dubstep?
Nothing but like that kind of music,
Yes.
or at least it's nothing, or it's what was majority of what you listened to, or it was the only thing you listened to.
For me, I did listen to dubstep. The only reason why I stopped is because it kept giving me headaches. Because you can't listen to dubstep on short volume. It has to be the loudest it can be, or it's not dubstep.
That's true.
But it gave me
kinda
headaches,
facts.
so I had to stop. But the most embarrassing music phase that I went through was Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh
the
my
2007
gosh.
soundtrack. I remember pestering my mom so much that I wanted the soundtrack, and I used to listen to all the music. And like
so
when I was
funny.
sad, I would listen to the sad songs that they covered in the soundtrack.
Wow.
And like
Wow.
I'd pretend like I'm vibing out, like they're saying what's inside my inner heart, but they're fucking chipmunks with high-pitched voices. So, yeah.
Well, everyone was listening to Bruno Mars. You was listening to Alvin and the Chipmunks.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a music phase, but I did have a phase where I did start listening to dubstep, but not to the point where like it was the thing I listened to the most.
Mhm.
Acid Rain by Wolfpack.
I think there was one. I think
Shout
this
out to
like
Deadmau5.
in like the 2012, 13, something or somewhere around there was when Fallout Boy was really big. Fallout Boy and
Ooh.
Imagine Dragons were both really big, and I remember listening to like a lot of that kind of music specifically during that time, and I think that would be the most like music phase I've ever gone through, is like Fallout Boy, what is it? One Republic and Imagine Dragons. But yeah.
Did you ever dress up? Not dressed up, but were you? The stereotypes of people that listen to Fall Out Boy. Do you dress? Never mind.
No, I never.
Dress up as one of the
never
Fall Out
took
Boys?
it.
Yeah. Did you dress up as one of the the crew?
Nah, I never took it to a level to where like it affected the way I acted or it affected the way I dressed. But it was definitely like part of my life where I listened to that kind of music specifically.
Have you guys ever gone through an embarrassing phase where it was your identity, like you were known for this? Like Scuba Steve was saying, have you ever dressed up like Fall Out Boy? Was there ever a phase that you went through where it actually did affect the way you talk and treat people and dress?
Well, I remember in high school I've only wore like button up shirts and ties and dress pants. Right, but they weren't really matching, and it was low-key kind of uncomfortable. And plus, I wasn't really wearing the right type of clothes but I for a long time in high school. I think it was just mainly my freshman year where I just wore suit and ties, and I thought it didn't really change the way I talked though. It just like I dress the way I like to dress the way I feel. So I guess at the time I felt kind of confident. Not really. I never, but.
Facts.
But I just thought I felt like it was very comfortable wearing dress pants for a long time. It felt really silky and smooth in my legs, and I was like, jeans are just too heavy and just rough. And then I wore jeans again, and I don't like dress pants anymore.
I will say, as a person who knew Scuba Steve when he was in high school, I thought it was cool how you dressed up and always had a tie. I thought that was like a signature because no other high school kid was wearing a tie.
No, yeah, I mean I had a teacher. He called my name and he was like, "Hey, let me shake your hand."
That's funny.
I was like, "What?" Right? I mean, but it's just funny. I didn't act the way I dressed though. I mean, I was very dumb. Not dumb in the sense of like I did stupid things. I just wasn't smart, right? Academically. So like I was pretty average. I wasn't really like the star student. I kind of just was whatever. But yeah, I had that phase. My brother sometimes make fun of me of that because I didn't match a lot of the clothes that I wore, and it wasn't even fitting too. I would wear longer pants or like sometimes the hips would be. I have pretty small hips. So I would buy pants with bigger hips, so then it would just look weird when I tuck in my shirt with my belt. So it was a cool phase, but it was just like it was it could have been better. I could have wore better clothes. All right. So now I just wear whatever feels comfortable.
What about you, Pablo?
I have like two instances. One of them is just more like my character, but the second one is more like what you guys are trying to talk about, or like I was known for this. But so I'll just start with the second one, where when I was 10, I started swimming because my sister was swimming. Nice. And
you wore Speedos every day.
Bro, wait, I'm not to that point yet. And I didn't. When I was 12 years old was the first time I made states for swimming.
Ooh, whoa.
And dang. Before then, I wasn't like really big into swimming, and I'm not big into swimming anymore. But like, when I was 12, I made it to states for swimming, and after like my first states is when I was like really into swimming, and so my mom and dad got me to wear Speedos to to swim meets.
I was right.
and on top of that, I was that dude in swimming. Like I was that dude, bro.
Like the Speedo, the goggles that's like wrapped over the eyes, and the ball cap.
And then and the guy that whenever he went up on the blocks, he made the most noise. Like I made myself known when I was on the blocks. Like I like to how do I describe my routine?
I like to
like,
smack my inner thighs.
No, I wasn't that guy. Like, when I warm up, I didn't smack my body like some of the guys did. But like when I went up on the block, I like stomped on the block, I clapped, and then I did the Michael Phelps.
Oh, that little like you know the.
Yeah. But yeah, that was what I was known for in swimming after my first states. Every time I went up on the block, I stomped on the block, clapped, and did the Michael Phelps.
Dang.
But I think the other instance though is kind of just more towards my character as a person. When I was in middle school, I was known as like the good boy. That I was super innocent. I was the teacher's pet. Like, I tried to be friends and super nice to my teachers. And what else? And I didn't really talk to a lot of people, but like I had close friends. I just didn't talk to a lot of people. And that's kind of like my character now. Like, I try to be nice to my teachers all the time. I try to be nice to everyone, and I'm still kind of known as the more innocent person, especially like in college.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm that's still to my character to this day. But I'm a lot less innocent than I was like middle school, but at the same time, like, I'm still known as that today.
An embarrassing phase that I went through was in middle school in 7th and 8th grade. I had an identity crisis. I didn't know who I was. And so instead of trying to work on myself as a person and trying to get people to know me as a person, I ended up with the title The Halo Guy, because everything I ever talked about or drew or themed after was Halo.
That sounds like Jeffrey.
Whenever we had book reports, I went out and bought a Halo book. Whenever
that's funny.
Whenever there was like a math problem, like they'd be like, "Hey, we're gonna do something fun. Use math to get a diameter of a picture," and my pictures will always be Halo. I would always design my stuff. I would bring my Halo games, all of my Halo games, in my backpack. I don't know how I wasn't robbed, and I have so much respect for my classmates now, knowing that as an adult, that was the dumbest thing I could have done. Because, like, I brought all of them. If someone stole my backpack, it would have set me back hundreds of bucks to buy all those Halo games back. And I brought all of them to school on a regular basis. I would read the fucking manual that comes inside of the game cover. You know, it was bad. It was bad. I knew I had a problem the moment a pretty girl came to our school, and she was the new girl. And people were showing her around the school, and they got to me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's the Halo guy." I'm like, "Oh well, I want to change that."
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm no longer the Halo guy. I'm the big guy. Big guy.
I'm no longer the Halo guy. I am Master Chief himself.
I need a weapon.
Cortana.
Would you consider phases in elementary embarrassing? I feel like
that's more of it.
I feel like anything in elementary is embarrassing as it is.
It's free game.
Yeah. But I remember there's this channel on YouTube. And I still watch it. I kind of binge watched it earlier, a couple of months ago. But shout outs to them. Stupid Mario Bros. Right, the Rich Alvarez channel. They made a back when YouTube was kind of was more creative and people were just posting stuff for funsies and like they were just having a good time. Like I watched all their videos come up to date in elementary. It was like 10 years ago or something. It was a long time ago. And what they did in that, and what they posted, I imitated that in real life. And so I thought I was Super Mario, right? And so one time I brought gloves to school, like white gloves, and I wanted everyone, because we all in our gang, not really gang, but like in our little posse in elementary, we all had to have nicknames, right? We all decided to like, hey, we should have nicknames since we're all in the group. So I was like, oh, since I'm watching this like YouTube sensation, I should be called Mario, right? And so, you know, I brought gloves, and then I was like, all right, guys, call me Mario. But they called me Michael Jackson instead.
That's hilarious.
They're like, why you look like Michael Jackson? And I was like, who the hell is Michael Jackson? But
and then you listen to his music, you're like, damn, this is the best singer ever.
But, you know, but anything in elementary is up for a game. Well, to kind of relate to the whole like screaming thing from Pablo, you know, with the whole stomping and stuff. I remember in high school, it's not really embarrassing. It probably is to most people, but I was kind of proud of myself. But in high school, my senior year, I would join leadership class, and I had a great time. It was a fun class. And it gave me the opportunity to do things that I wanted to do in high school for a long time. And that was to participate in the class obstacle courses in at our pep assemblies, the pep rallies, right? I've always wanted to participate in that, but I never got picked. It was always the cool jock kids, and I was like, whatever, it's fine. And so, the leadership class gave me the opportunity to MC that section of the pep assembly, right? So, and so because of that, I became the hype man, right? Because I'll just be like screaming and punching my chest and stuff, and be like, right? Like I'll be in the hallways, and you know, I had a friend like be like, because I would say yeah, but I would yell yeah. I'm not gonna yell now because my neighbors are gonna be like, what the hell? They're playing Halo Reach. But yeah, so it was a fun time. I reminisce about that, but as older I get, you know, all my energy was in that moment, or in my senior year in high school. Now I'm just like an 80-year-old man, ready to just take a nap anytime, really. My hobbies are playing games, socializing with friends, and sitting down. Mainly sitting down.
Playing golf because I'm 80.
If I can't sit down, I'm not about it. That's why I don't go most to like much parties here in college, because I can't sit down. Like I have to be standing, and I don't know. My back, you know. Anyways,
for me, man, in middle school, like this is like when I first got my Xbox. I was really into Call of Duty, like really into Call of Duty.
Oh God. I'll save. I feel like that's all our.
All right. Does the YouTuber I Am Wildcat ring any bells to you guys?
No.
Fuck. Well, well, there's these YouTuber channels that did like parodies and really stupid, funny videos on freaking Black Ops 2, and I loved like what they did and stuff like that. So I tried to be like that guy in Call of Duty, just be the super stupid funny guy playing Call of Duty. And then it made its way to how I act in school sometimes, and it was so dumb. And I was also like that big FaZe Clan, or not FaZe Clan, but like FaZe fan. Like I watched all of the FaZe videos, and I even like in the end of middle school, beginning of high school, me and my friends tried to make a clan, and like had played like kind of like the competitive Call of Duty at the time on Black Ops 2, and that was that was a moment in my life.
Well, at least you don't have like recordings of your mistakes. So you were just reminding me back when I was in high school. My friend was trying to make a troll YouTube channel, and he wanted me to help him, so I did. And every time I go back to that video and I hear myself, oh man, it's bad. It's really bad.
Man, you're a mistake. I'm getting some negative vibe from you. How about me and you play some Super Mario? Your dad's son. I'll just say that. How about we play Super Mario? It seems like you're getting angry and angrier.
And the guy, I love him. He's my friend, but at the same time, some of his practices were awful, and I still defended him. Like he was like, if you want to be in my video, you'll have to change your gamer tag, and you'll have to change your clan tag to my name, but like a different version of my name. And I defended him, yeah. And his equipment was horrible, so going back and watching all those recordings of me trying to help him troll people, and I feel bad because like these people are just trying to have fun and we're fucking with them, and we're that typical like annoying high school kids like you just got trolled, bro. It's awful.
That's fun.
I remember when Halo Reach came out. Like, I'm a huge Halo fan. I don't know if I've spoken about this. I'll probably speak about this for the rest of my life, but I'm a huge Halo fan. And when Halo Reach came out, I played the blue blah out of it.
Okay.
Right. I played the freak out of that game. Right. We had to buy a whole bunch of copies. My brother and I would fight over it. It's just a long story. Anyways, I remember playing with my cousins, and we would get into a lobby, and we just wanted to F around, and we were playing Infection. And we were like, all right, we had mics, and we're like, all right, everybody, we're not gonna actually play the game. We're just gonna shoot each other, right? We're gonna betray each other. So if you guys want to join us in the corner of the map, and we're just gonna shoot each other, right? And so that's what we did, and for a long time, for a bit. But also Call of Duty, when Black Ops 2 came out, that's when me and my friends started clans. Our clan was called... the clan was called... It wasn't really like a serious clan. We weren't like serious gamers. But I'm not... Our clan was called Boss, right? But it was like... it was spelled B-A-W-S. So like pause, but with a B. Because at the time, when memes were starting to hit... was starting to... be a huge thing, part of our lives. There was this meme about Rick Ross at the time, and it was like pears, right? But he was like, "Shout out to my pears," and we just like the way Rick Ross sounds like, or we just kind of made no disrespect, Rick Ross. You're a cool guy. His music top notch. I love Aston Martin.
If you're listening to this, you're cool, man.
Highly
and the one in the million chance that you're listening to this.
but just the way he's like, what up? My name is Rick Rouse. I am the boss. And when we would say boss like boss, and so we're just like, let's have that be our clan tag, and we be the boss clan, like that. And so that's where we were, and so we try to we try to be super elite players, but we were just effing around. We weren't really that good. And
every group of kids is like that. Like, we're gonna make it big in Call of Duty, and then they just don't.
We're gonna be like FaZe.
Wait, I'll be right back. I gotta finish my social studies homework.
What, Mom? Oh, shut up, Mom. Sorry, guys, I have to go.
I have friends like that.
The pizza rolls are ready. I'll be right back.
I will say this isn't really an embarrassing. It's just I recall this happening back when my friends were playing Modern Warfare 3. We were making some really let's say just racy jokes, and we weren't in party chat. And so we another group of people fill in the lobby, and we're waiting for the match to start. And the moment this new group of people joined in, I went on the mic and I was like, hey, we're making a bunch of racist jokes, so if you're not cool with that, you should just leave. And then half the lobby left.
That's
funny.
But some of them stayed. Some of them stayed. I was like, all right, here we go.
Would you kind of give us like a little?
You don't want you don't want me to say the jokes that I said. You want this channel to survive. I mean, we're all just having fun here.
I just want an audience to know they're very curious.
Let's just say
our audience of 3 people.
If I were to say this out loud in today's times, if I were famous, I would also be canceled right away. So just put that in perspective. The thing that you would imagine the worst racist joke to be, that's what I said. So I'm not denying it. Just I'm not giving you proof. At least here.
So this just in.
But if you check out that troll channel that my friend is on.
But I remember when, speaking of Call of Duty, since we're still in this topic, I haven't watched, what was it, Wildcat or whatever you said, Pablo? Yeah, I watched, when you watched him, I watched people like KYR Speedy, and there's this other guy, he lived in Washington, but it was like, dude, I forgot, but, no, this was the time when like Modern Warfare 3 came out, and Call of Duty was like everyone was watching everyone play Modern Warfare, and also when chat roulettes was a huge thing, right? And so I had a time where me and my cousin would just go and chat roulette and we would f around. I mean, it's interesting. Like I think about it now. I was reading this I'm reading this book for one of my philosophy classes, and there's a section where there's a section in the chapter where the author talks about how when chat roulette was a huge thing, and she kind of she used it as an example in her classroom. So she opened up chat roulette in her class, and and it was her first time herself in chat roulette. I don't think it's chat roulette. I forget what it was, like Omegle or whatever. But anyways, the first thing that popped up was a man's dick.
Okay.
was a hard on, right? And then I think that's the funniest thing, because then she clicked again and it was just some girls, like some teenage girls, like giggling again. She clicked again, it was just some like Spanish dudes eating dinner, and then like she clicked again and it was a dude like performing. Let's say
performing what?
He was cleaning his barrel, right?
What does that mean?
He was cleaning his barrel. It's funny.
To give the audience a frame of reference, what exactly do you mean by cleaning the barrel?
Here, let's put a visual right now. Bam. Here is a barrel, like where you put fish in, and here's a cloth. And it's just someone cleaning the barrel. That's just it. That's the visual.
Okay.
Anyways, and so after anyways, after reading that section of that chapter, I had flashbacks to the time where me and my cousin were on chat roulette. We didn't really see barrels, but we saw kind of like a cloth. We had a cloth over the barrel, and we saw it twice, the same one as we were clicking, so it was kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
But I don't know if that was a phase, because we just did it like a couple times, but that was a time.
Do you guys want to get deep on this next one? Because I have some deep ones if you want.
Yeah, man.
He said,
hit us.
He said,
you can't go deeper than the barrel.
Alright, so I would say this is the most embarrassing time of my life, or when I was in high school. Because when I was growing up, or at least when I was in elementary school, I was never really introverted until I moved because my dad was in the army. And then, but by the time that I got to high school was when it was the worst. And so, whenever I had a crush on a girl in high school, I could never talk to the girl. Like, I could never talk to the girl I liked. I just straight up avoided her For what? I don't know why. But, like, that was the way I went about liking people. Was, like...
Same.
If I like somewhere, I'd just, like, avoid them at all costs. It was so bad.
I like you, but I ain't gonna show you or tell you that I like you.
I like you, but goodbye.
Exactly.
No, I get it. I would avoid girls that I.
But yeah, in high school, I was just so.
My heart and my love.
I was so awkward to approach. Like.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to anyone. Like, I just couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't force myself to talk to anyone. It was so bad. Like, I had to wait for the person to come up to talk to me. It's so dumb.
For me, that wasn't really the case. Because what happened was the opposite. Except she didn't like me back. She just stopped talking to me.
Relatable.
That happened in high school a lot. Like I talked to them, we'd be cool, and then they just stopped talking to me. Yeah, junior year was cool because I talked to everyone. Senior year, no one talked to me. So yeah, but yeah, I get it. I get it.
Bro, I was that guy in high school that everyone knew about, but nobody. But I was like the popular, unpopular kid. Like, everyone knows about you, but
same.
nobody really cares enough to get to know about you.
Yeah, I was very well known myself. I mean, being that I was emceeing for like some of the parts of the pep assembly. I have friends that I have friends, but a lot of people knew me. But it's whatever. I don't know him no more.
Some people knew me because sometimes I wouldn't say the best. I wouldn't take the best approach to something, so I would be known for that. I remember when I was in high school, it was freshman year, and when you're new to a school, first impressions make everything. And when you're a freshman, like for me especially, I was scared of high school. You know, I didn't know anyone. Well, I knew some people, but for the majority, I didn't know anyone, and I was afraid of how hard the classes were going to be. Teachers weren't going to be nice or anything like that. And at first, it wasn't going like that at all. I was having a good time, but then I got to one of my English classes, and boy, oh boy, was that like the scary. Like the teacher, she would stare into your soul. And no one said anything. Like, we'd all just sit in rows and we would be deadpan silent. And not because she told us not to talk, but the moment you open your mouth, she would stare at you. And like, it would just be silence, and it was like the heaviest feeling in the world. And the moment she got up to leave, like, she went to go get something from the office or something, but the moment she closed those doors, I flipped up 2 middle fingers, and I whisper screamed, "Fuck you, lady! Fuck you!"
Golly.
I was known for that.
Dude, Ripper, I think I know what you're talking about. Since me and him went to the same high school, we kind of know the teachers, and I think I know what you're talking about. She I don't want to roast her now.
We called her Krusty. That's what it was. She had crust.
Yeah.
She had crust on the side of her lips, and we called her Miss Krusty Lips.
It was like foam, man.
Oh
man. She'd be like talking. Turn to the next page. We're gonna read the. Anyways, anybody got it? It was like, what?
The crust fell onto a friend of mine's paper, and he was freaking out because he was like, "Ugh, it's there! Look, it left a stain."
It's like the cheese touch, man. You don't want to like.
That's funny.
I hope she's doing well. I hope her life is full of joy and,
You know.
As long as she's not near me, I'm fine.
Alright, I got a question for you guys.
Bet.
What are those?
What
these are my socks.
What was the most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
I think the pooping one is probably the most embarrassing thing. I can't think of anything else more embarrassing.
Yeah.
What about you, Soda?
Yeah, no, same. Pooping yourself is just there's no other feeling like it. Like, not only do you need to change, but like you pooped yourself. Like, things that belong in a toilet is in your pants, touching your skin, held up by underwear that's now soiled because you couldn't hold on long enough.
That's funny.
Especially given the situation where, like, you can't change when you step on a piece of poop, right, with the shoe. You could just take off your poop, or take off your poop. You can take off your shoe. You can take off your shoe and you could just clean it, right? Well, when you poop in your pants, you can't take things off unless you're in the bathroom, right? And be that you're not nowhere near a bathroom, you're kind of like goofed. You're done, so.
Dang,
my
so
guy.
Much for not talking about
Ripperoonie.
It's no other feeling, man. There's no other more like feeling of defeat when your poop is in your pants.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, if it's not poop related, I can't think of anything. Well, I mean, my mom kind of did, but that's a different time.
All right, I
love
think
my mom.
my most embarrassing moment, or my most embarrassing thing I've ever done was, what was it? Like 6th grade. I was in a bad group of friends, like
Rough Rider.
Oh man, I don't know how to explain it. Like, we were not good for each other. Like, our friend group was just not good for each other. And we were messing around at the lunch table, and one of my friends was throwing stuff, like little pieces of food at me. And since I had a lunchbox, I was just like blocking him with my lunchbox. And then there was one time, like, he threw a piece of food high, and then right after that he threw it really low where it hit the table pretty much. And so I went up to block the first one, and the second one I went down to block the second one, and as I'm coming down, my tooth hits the table and I chipped my tooth.
Ooh.
And I had to come home and tell my parents about it. That was so dumb. Oh my gosh. And like, my parents will not let it down. It's so embarrassing.
That sounds painful. That sounds more painful than
No, it didn't hurt at all. Cause it did not hurt at all. It just, I hit my freaking tooth on the table, and it like popped, came out. Well, my tooth didn't come out. It just, like, a part of my tooth came off, and that was it. I was like, oh shit, my part of my tooth is not there anymore.
Oh, what the?
And my friends were looking at me like, whoa, what the heck?
When you chip your tooth and you kind of like breathe in a little bit, so you're like, right?
Yeah.
Does like the part of your tooth that's chipped, does it chill? Does it feel
a
chill?
little bit, cause it's you just like, you're not used to like feeling that part of your tooth, so it feels super weird.
Yeah, it's such a weird feeling. I think the mouth is such a weird feeling. Anything involving the mouth.
But like, continuing on that story, like, how many times did I chip my tooth, bro? It's the same tooth too. I chipped it like 4 times.
The same tooth.
To the point where there's no tooth left.
I chipped it like 4 times. The first time was the lunchbox thing. The second time, my sister threw a wiffle ball at me. The third time, my sister, we were at a hotel for a swim meet, and me and my sister were in the same bed, and she turned around with her elbow all the way out, hit me in the face, and it chipped my tooth again. And then the 4th time, bro, what was the 4th time? I don't remember
when I
exactly.
fought a bear with a spoon.
I don't remember exactly how it came out. I think I was like biting on something and it just came out.
I've had some times where like I handled stuff poorly. I remember I got in an argument with my cousin, and it was one of those times where it's like they push you push them back, and then back and forth, and you know how it's kind of escalating every now and then.
And then you guys are not wearing pants.
Whoa, okay.
Wow.
That took a twist.
But no, she pushed, I pushed harder, she pushed harder, and I got pissed. And so I had a Toy Story, Evil Emperor Zurg.
Yes.
You know how his base is like really cylinder? Well, I had a action figure Emperor Zurg, and I grabbed it by the head and I bashed her in the back of the head.
Damn.
I bashed her head and then I ran like expecting I can get away, but like I was just running to the backyard. It's like they can still get me.
That's funny. That's crazy.
I like that. That's like a fighting scene from like Uncharted, you know, it's like and then I like that.
It's like that meme where like, oh shit, I didn't mean to hit you. Stop crying. Stop. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, but like it's hard for me. It's hard for me to justify I didn't mean to hit her when I definitely clubbed the back of her skull with my evil Emperor Zurg. Like it wasn't me, it was Zurg.
They start crying, so you start choking them. It was just a tap, all right? Stop crying. As you're choking them.
That's funny.
Just kidding. Don't ever choke people.
Don't club your cousins in the back of the skull either.
Speaking of that, let's move on to our sponsors. It's been a while since we talked about sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by Bandages.
Huh? How convenient. You hurt? How relevant to the conversation?
Yeah, I know. I looking down the list. I guess it kind of was a good segue to that.
Because we're stuck on Band-Aid, Brandon. Band-Aid's stuck on me. Bam.
Actually, false. Band-Aids are stuck. Anyways, so you know, if we're looking at this as a whole, I can't really. I think the reason why, going back to the question of the most embarrassing thing in my life, I think the reason why I can't really think of one is because a lot of things that I do are considered embarrassing, and like I tend to embarrass myself and my friends and whoever I'm around with, but I kind of just like, it's not like over the top, but I just like goof around, and then I'm like, oh okay, normal time. Right? I kind of just like, you know, brush it off. Right? I mean, like the last time
if you don't feel any shame.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't remember a time. Well, I mean, up until now, I mean, obviously I had those moments where I feel ashamed about myself, but it's like I don't remember a time now as I'm older, like like I didn't want to see myself with around people because of how embarrassed I felt, right? I kind of just own up to it, right? Or I'm just like, I just like roast myself. I feel like I grew up to the point where roasting has just become part of my life, where if I do something embarrassing, I'll just find it funny myself, and I just like roast it. I just like do a little bit of roasting and then just move on, right? Right?
Exactly.
I mean, like I just own up to, and like I just acknowledge that, like, oh yeah, my pants ripped. And now my butt underwear is showing. And then I move on.
Bro, have you guys ever actually ripped your pants? Because I have a couple times.
Actually, last year at the Bite of Seattle.
That's funny. That's funny.
Bro, oh my gosh. Going back to my...
oh yeah. I sat down on a rock and it just ripped.
That's funny.
I remember that.
Going back to my when I used to swim, there was this guy, bro.
Who didn't wear Speedos?
No.
Had a leaf.
There's this guy. He ripped his freaking swim trunks.
Oof.
And it was so bad. He couldn't swim the rest of the day. But
I wonder why.
No, like none of us had like a spare swim trunk to give him, so he was just like out underwear for the rest of the day. And
well,
like,
even if you did have a spare Speedo, would you give it to him? I wouldn't.
It was so funny because like the guy, he didn't even know it. Like he was just swimming. He was like, "Huh, my butt feels colder than usual."
That's funny.
And
why do I feel a sense of breeze?
Coach runs up to him and like, "Bro, your swim trunks are ripped." So they had to drag him out of the water, bro, and it was a big slash too. Like it was so noticeable.
You had to drag him out. That's
It was
He's like, no, I can swim, coach. I can still play.
Bro, he still wanted to swim. Was the thing. That was the craziest part of it.
Right.
Like,
you don't
so
think
just-
he purposefully ripped his pants so he could flash people and have the
funny.
excuse that he's just
This is why we need band-aids, right? I mean, you just cover it up with the band-aid.
That's why I was saying, like, I felt so bad for him because, like, he couldn't get back in the water. He really wanted to swim that day, but he couldn't because his swim trunks were ripped, bro. That was.
It needs a solution to that. It's just to get paper napkins. Right? Just tape it where it is, right? I mean, it's simple and.
That's funny.
Yeah. But anyways.
You guys got anything else?
I mean, like Scuba Steve was saying, I mean, there's been times where like I should feel shame, but like I don't. Like I remember when I was at summer school in 4th grade, we went behind the shed, and for some reason, I took off my shirt and just started whipping it around, and just started like
That's funny.
screeching that like I'm a dude without my shirt on.
That's funny.
This fat, pudgy 4th grader with his tits out, like waving his shirt in the air. But like, I'm not ashamed of that because it was funny to me and my friends. So I don't. But like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people do make fun of me behind my back. It's just how it is. But I mean, I just vibe. Like a lot of embarrassing things I do is with my friends.
Yeah,
And
embarrassment
people,
is perspective. Has to do a lot with perspective,
Exactly.
and if you don't feel embarrassed, it's pretty much not embarrassing to you. But since I'm introverted, like there's a lot of things I feel embarrassed about. But at the same time, like a normal person won't think they're embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I'm an introvert, but like, I'm not embarrassed. I just don't want to deal with people. You know. I don't want to.
Well, that's also facts.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there are some moments when I'm in class and when I raise my hand to answer a question or to make a point, and I say stuff and I kind of just ramble. I do feel embarrassed because like I sound kind of dumb, and there's no one there. I have no friends there to defend me or to roast me or to roast myself, right? So it's kind of like, and so I just don't say anything ever again in the class, right? I mean,
Bro, that's facts. You say one
Like,
bad
the only
thing
time-
and then you're done for the rest of your life in the class.
exactly, right? Only time I will say something in class is when I know that I would say some like scientifically smart or besides like giving a presentation, or I'll say something that I know for a fact it would be funny, right? But other than that, I mean,
At least when you ramble, you have something to say. You just reminded me back when I was in school. They would, how teachers would pick random kids, like
Yeah.
they would always pick on me, and they're like,
Best
"What are we
moments.
trying to find?" And I'd be like, "The answer," and then everyone would laugh. But I was hella serious. I didn't know what to say, and then like that's funny. That's funny, Soda. But what's the real answer? And then I have to say I don't know and look like a dumbass.
that's funny.
Yeah, I did feel shame in that.
Yeah, yo, shout outs to those teachers that just picked you at random. It's so awkward.
Hey, there's a reason why we don't raise our hand, lady. Come on.
But makes sense. Be like that. Ha ha.
What do you guys think? What was your most embarrassing moment? Leave it
Have
in
you
the
ever
comments.
pooped your pants?
Oh yeah, have you ever pooped your pants? That's a good question. Leave it down in
Ever
the
saw a
comments.
barrel on emoji?
Have you ever pooped on a bagel? I mean, it happens. I just want to know. Like, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not gonna roast you. Yeah, I will. But this is interesting. I just want to know. I mean, if you had the opportunity, there's nothing wrong with pooping on a bagel.
There's
it's just a
everything wrong with
situation.
pooping on a bagel.
It's situational, right? I mean, if you're
No,
Never mind, I'm not
when
gonna get
it's
into
the
it.
situation where it's good.
Let's not get into it. I don't
Right,
wanna
save
talk
it for a
about
hot take.
pooping. But yeah,
Oh my gosh.
hope you guys. We're gonna conclude this discussion. I hope you guys have learned something today. You probably didn't, but we enjoy you guys listening. Please enjoy the rest of your day, week, time, life.
Penis.
Please.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Oh my god. Please be safe, man out there.
I'm dying, bro. He said enjoy the rest, and then he said your penis.
Oh man.
I wanted to make a real life embarrassment moment, but I'm not ashamed. So.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, thanks guys. See you.
See you guys.